Send me an email. I'll send it to you.
I don't email.
All right, I'll text it.
All right, thanks.
My main man. That's my man, Mark. That's my main man, Mark. Oh, man. What's happening, people? Let me see if we can click on here again and it'll give us something else to see if we can see what's going on. Resetting up my computer and trying to check out what's going on. And there it is. Ha ha, the deacon's in the building. So what I gotta do is now, y'all just bear with me, man. I'm on my thug. Where is my Zoom at? Back to meeting. There it is. All right. Y'all was scaring me. What's going on, man? What's going on? Oh, man. I just want to make sure that get in here. Get these topics together. I'm messing around, man, with the Zoom. There it is. There it is. I just want to see how it's going to go. Chad Ross, my brother, we have no practice today. It was raining and I canceled early, so I now cannot go and tell everybody to come on back. So can you slide by my office, sir? Yeah, I messed around and canceled. It starts storming. I'm like, oh, it's going to be too wet. So I might have jumped the gun, but it's better for the kids anyway. Don't want people getting sick or getting wet and that whole, all day outside. I jumped the gun. So yeah, man. I want to look at the couple things today, man. I'm just on here just chopping it up. Transfer rule went in effect last night. They talking about expect to pass in January. Yeah, 23 hours ago, transfer rule passed. Was been telling parents and telling people that this was going to happen, and I don't know why everybody was acting like it wasn't, but it happened. And I gotta get a new mic. This is starting to bug me. This little thing. So it happened last night. So yeah, we definitely want to get that. I want to take some questions, man, because I'm last night I was a little disturbed again, but I'm tired of being disturbed. So, how many coaches are gonna watch the live stream of college of high school club football? So I had that question last night, and somebody said it would be a great topic. Somebody said I talked to some people I heard they not. So I always want to kill the people who want to make negative comments. There's not a college coach that has I talked to. Matter of fact, let's call one. Let's call my boy, Courtney Morgan, Fresno State. I'm gonna pose a question to Court. You guys can hear Courtney on speaker with me. We're gonna ask a coach. That's a guy that's over recruiting. That's over everything. He wants to know. Oh, you working now? See, he working all of a sudden.
Your call has been forwarded to an.
Let me see. We call a head coach. Head coach. Let's see if we can call a head coach and say, Coach, if somebody is playing, let me see a coach will pick up FaceTime. Maybe he'll FaceTime. I'll be FaceTiming and time facing and all that. Because usually if he at home, he'll do it. Might have the girls. He might have children with him. Coach, you know I don't usually FaceTime you. So you probably said, man, you better call my phone. Call Coach James. James, University of Northern.
Hi, this is Coach Harrison, head football coach at Bethel College. Coming in.
Coach ain't there. So let me talk to my boy James. My boy James will let you guys know. Call a couple of Jameses. There he is. I just want people to understand it.
Hey, what's going on, good brother?
Man, trying to make it all the way back. Let me ask you a question, sir. Are you at home? Are you busy?
No,
I need to pull you in on a topic real quick. We have club football for the high school since California is not going to be playing, and I want to pull you in on this Zoom for about 15 minutes, if all I can get, for you to answer some questions as a Division I football coach who's coached at University of Northern Colorado, San Jose State, Cal Poly, your whole deal. When I pose these questions, I need a coach to answer this so some of our viewers can understand that club football is not a bad thing for a coach who hasn't seen kids in a year and a half.
right.
I would like to get your thought on it. Do you have that kind of time?
Yeah, let me turn this TV down.
Well, I'm gonna send you a Zoom. I'm gonna text it to you. You can just go on Zoom and you can put the passcode and all that, and just another way we can get these people understanding. I really appreciate it. And then me and you need to. I got you in another meeting tomorrow. This group is a powerful insurance group. They sell insurance, and they want to add this to packages and stuff. So I want to definitely get you in here. So
Hey, because it's booming up. Did you see what I sent you?
yes, yeah, I seen what you seen me this morning.
Dog, it's going crazy, and it's getting ready to. I need to get those people up under you, so when this thing shoots up,
Yep.
so that we can get you all going. Because right now, I think the last one I sent you, I'm gonna send you what I got today, bro. It's going crazy, and it's going to be. So I got like, in addition, I got $3,000 in my wallet. Now I only put $1,000 a year.
Wow. Okay.
But I'll show you what I made too.
Okay. Well, I just sent you a passcode. If you can jump on, we got some people in here need to hear from you. So
Okay. I'm about to hop on right this moment.
I'm gonna see you. I'm gonna see you when you pop in. I'm gonna get you. Okay, I see you.
That shit just jumped. I mean, it just jumped up even more.
Okay.
So so okay, I got the passcode. I'm gonna get in right.
Okay.
Now, let me turn my computer on.
All right, coach. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna have Coach James come in with us. We're gonna have a little conversation, a little bit about this club football. D-line coach, San Jose State, University of Northern Colorado, Cal Poly, been a number of places. I'll let him I'll let him. I'll let him introduce himself and talk to you guys a little bit more about his background and what he's done coaching, and so you can get a better understanding that I can call. You can say, well, I talked to 4 coaches and I talked to this coach. I can talk to 10, 12 that say they, so we're just going to do it. Just want to kill all disparities and help parents make valid decisions and not decisions based upon what everybody's doing, because a lot of people going to hell. I don't think everybody want to go with them. You know what I mean? Coach, what's going on, man?
Oh man, ain't nothing, man. How you doing?
I'm back. I'm feeling all right, man. Just pray for my wife. Hey, man. So I want you to kind of give me your football bio, your background for all those viewers that are listening now and that will come in later. As you know, in California right now, we have a large group. Our high school football is not going to be played. And I want to talk to you about a couple of things. And one of my parents just said, I hear coaches are taking kids from the transfer portals because they haven't seen seniors play. I know G-Tech will be watching the club teams. Thank you, Mark Perry. So it's going to kind of lead me into that case. But I want you to build your foundation of where you coached and what you've done. But we're not playing in California. And me and you talked about this before, you being a D-line guy, O-line guy, D-line guy, and knowing, you coach on the side of the ball, but every coach has to recruit. We've been in this COVID thing since March, February. I want you to put your coach hat back on and say, okay, if I haven't seen a kid who the year prior I started recruiting, and the next year when we got to contact period, evaluation period, it was all knocked down, and we come back around all the way to where we are today. If that kid is going to play club football, and somebody said, hey, they're playing 5 games, showcase high school football. There's some mixed teams. There's some teams that are playing with their high school, but it's going to be 5 games. And the kids that you've been recruiting are going to be playing, or kids, you just want to see some kids.
Right. So
are you going to watch that, or are you going to say, well, that ain't their high school? Like, give me your true feeling about it.
Well, what I'll do, first of all, I'll answer just letting everyone know, just kind of my resume. I've been all over the country. I started off GA at Bowling Green in the MAC, played at Texas Southern University, became a GA there. Shout out to my HBCUs.
Joe Birch, my boy Joe Birch.
That's my guy. I played with him. One of the best sitters I've ever seen play.
I signed Joe Birch in 1992 with sports placement when he went to the New England Patriots. That was one of our clients.
Awesome, great dude. But what I wanted to tell you guys is going from there. I had an opportunity. I coached at Morehouse, Cornell. I've coached in the Ivy League twice. Okay. Also, I've been in the Big 12. I was at Kansas State. I was at and I actually coached tight ends on the other side of the ball.
Okay.
With that. So, and then I ended up going, I've been, defensive coordinator at Prairie View A&M, at Northern Colorado, over 20 years of experience. Was in the Mountain West at San Jose State, also at Cal Poly. So I've had a wide range of experiences. Recruited the elite academic and some kids that had some academic struggles. Very Division II, very developmental kids, all the way up to your elite parade All-Americans. I remember in 2006 when I was recruiting Des Bryant, you know, so I have seen all of it. And the big thing that people have to understand and parents have to understand is really, we want to see the functional movement and the functional things that help kids in their development to play. What does that mean? That basically means, yeah, it's great to see kids run 40s. It's great to see kids lift weights, but we want to see the development. As a college football coach, you want to see the development of a kid, how he reacts when, you know, things are not going his way, how he reacts, how the camaraderie. Do kids, you know, rally behind him? These are the intangible things that a lot of people don't understand about the game that are very crucial in the chemistry of your organization. Okay. And the only way that you can see that is to see kids play. Okay.
So here, James, you know, we realized that we weren't going to play, and if we play, we're going to play way. And by the end, you know, the dead period was canceled again till April 15th. We're playing 5 games before the next signing day. Yesterday, we were waiting on a decision that we thought was going to come January 21st, and we'll talk about that, which is the one transfer, no sit rule, which means now these guys, we got full on college free agency about to go on. Like,
yes.
So recruiting part, we're gonna get there in that sense. But you said something very valid. So here you have few high school coaches in a 10-team league. And you have a couple guys that have had to, you know, because high school coaches can't coach club ball. So you have guys who have lent their playbook to these kids and these high school kids and said, hey, you guys can play with this guy, but I want you running my stuff. Again, I'm asked that question. If somebody sends you a link and says, Coach, you can watch these guys, would you tune in? Would it be a viable thing for you to say, yeah, let me look?
Absolutely. Because everyone has to understand the evaluation process does not stop, and any data, any information that we can get to certify and solidify a kid's ability is huge. Okay. The thing that parents don't understand is that we have to walk into these staff rooms, all right, with a head coach. And at some point, the head coach is going to say, okay, are you putting your stamp on this kid all the way around completely? Okay. His personality, the way that he's going to act, how he's going to function, if he has that it factor, is he a super competitor? Not just skill set. So any data that we can get as college football coaches is very critical in being able to stand on the table and say, when it's close, okay, you have this kid from Bakersfield, you have this kid from LA. This is what people don't understand. I'll take, for example, a running back. Okay, no, I'll take defensive backs, where defensive receivers. Let's talk about those. In the state of California, okay, so you have 10 people on your staff, okay? If everybody brings 2, one coach has LA, one coach has Bakersfield, one coach has Fresno, Stockton area, Sacramento. Everybody brings 2, that's 20, okay? That's 20 receivers, DBs, running backs, okay? What is going to separate your son from the rest of these kids? Okay. Wow. We look at, so now, okay, you're not talking about the position coach. The position coach he's got to be responsible for his own happiness. So he's going to recruit 10, 12 different running backs in his area to make sure that he knows, you know, hey, I know that these kids can play. I know them. All right, I'm going to be responsible for them. I like the way that they operate. So when I come in as another position coach, as another person, okay, I'm probably only going to get my top 2 or 3 that are going to even make the board. Because remember, there are 20. If he's got 5 himself, okay, and then we all bring him 2, okay, now we're in a position where there's a lot of running backs on there. All right. I've been in places where we've had 30 running backs, 30 DBs, and we're only taking 2. So the thing that is extremely important is being able to check off all the boxes and being able to tell that kid's entire story that has to be unique. All right. In addition to his talent, to be able to say he's the best fit for this organization.
Okay.
So going back to your point, any type of information, any type of data that I can get on a kid, whether he's playing club, whether he's doing community service, any of that stuff that he's doing, his lineage, you know, how he operates in adversity, how he does things. That's going to be extremely important in me putting him on the table. Because so now we sit in a big staff room. We've got 30 DBs, running backs or receivers, and your guy comes up. What makes your guy unique? What makes your son unique? And coach know everything that he needs.
So I want to say this to you because Mark brought up that point. So here we are in a very unique situation. Nobody is being seen, right?
Exactly.
So now you get people that go, okay, well, I'm not going to play in that league, right? Because it ain't his high school league or whatever. So now coach 1 of the 10 or 11 you got go, I just think the kid can go off his junior film. He says, you know, we haven't seen him. He gained 10 pounds of muscle. You put your kid on there and say, yeah, here go dude right here. We just seen him. I got 5 games on. That's the unique part? That's different, right?
That's different. Hey.
So head guy gonna sit back and go, I'm going off your word, but now we as a staff can sit here and watch this dude.
And see and this is the thing, exactly. And I can see his development. Understand that senior year or that next opportunity to play after the junior year is just to confirm or deny
what we thought we saw
and what we thought.
Right, exactly.
So the more that the kids can play and be in competitive situations, and I like the fact that you said that they're running system, because this is what happens, just like with your sons. They go from, and my son, they go from high school and they have to learn a different system. They have to deal with different personalities of different coaches. So now, yeah, it's cool that they've had a relationship with other coaches or their high school coaches. And this is just total candidness. But how is he going to react? All right. When I put extreme pressure on him in order to perform, and he hasn't known me for 5 years. He's just only known me through the recruiting process.
Right.
So how is he going to react? Is he going to tank? Is he going to get an attitude? You know, so now I've seen this over and over and over again.
But wouldn't you say, James, that also comes from this era, because it almost sounds like you get a bunch of coaches who almost want the quote unquote 5-star who is supposed to be the ready guy, right? He's supposed to be ready. Right. He's supposed to be closer to ready than the 4-star, 3-star development guy that I got to help develop. Then he gets there and you go, okay, what do you know? Well, if you play for your 7-on-7 coach, your high school coach, you've been around some different coaches, you've heard some things are the same have the same meaning but different lingo, right? You could call a defense and go, oh, that's this. We call it whatever. Okay. But you've been with different coaches. So you bring up the point. These guys are going to be running scheme. I have a meeting with all the coaches on Sunday. We're going to have that conversation that we want to put out a great product. We want to put out a product that coaches can see. So I don't want to see guys running double reverse flea flickers and all that. Put out, a product that looks like college football. Put out a product that's going to look like, if you're going to run the spread, run the spread. If you're going to run RPO, look so a coach can really evaluate a kid pass blocking. You're going to run, do your best not to run the triple option veer.
Right.
Coach Gola, his team or whatever it may be, but do your best to run if you're going to go single back, if you're going to do whatever you're going to do, you're not going to run the wing T. You know what I mean? You're going to run something that somebody can evaluate these kids on, but you said it. All this is more data to go to the table for your kid. And when you think about kids that are going to be playing in this class of 2022 who have no film, they didn't have camp this summer. They didn't have spring. A couple of them went, you had some invite only to Nike and or the national preps. You had these things. Now, not having that stuff, here it is. You have it. When people don't know the background, that I'm going to have these conversations with the coaches to say, hey, let's make sure that the product we put out there is something that the coaches want to watch, because we are going to share that link with you. We are going to tell you to tune in. We've got kids that Zion Hall, who signed with Cal Poly wide receiver. He's playing. Coach Nick told him, he said, I don't want you sitting around a whole year not playing. It's better you get out and run and run routes, see what this is about. The Wyoming coaches told JJ Uphold, go ahead and play. So there's guys in the league that are gonna play, that's gonna make it, it's gonna be competitive, it's gonna be that. So next thing is the new rule came out, and we were waiting for it to happen in January. It happened yesterday. So one transfer, no sit. I've been pleading with parents to really, really take that look at, and James, even today, you shocked me again with understanding I didn't know you were at Ivy League, didn't know you were, at these different places. So as you said, you've been on the scale of high academic, super athlete, you've been there. So kind of where I'm gonna go with this one transfer no sit rule is going to, how do you think from a guy, hey mother, love you too. How do you think from a guy who's been on those scopes on each end of the spectrum, how do you think that now affects the 25 scholarships that you usually get, and coaches going, you mean I can go get a guy out the portal right now? How do you think that's going to affect college football or college recruiting, high school recruiting? And how do you think it helps D2, D3 in NAIA football?
Well, I'll tell you this. The one thing that I will tell kids and parents right now is buyer beware. Okay. And I say that is because you could walk up out of a situation. The grass is not always greener on the other side.
Absolutely.
So the problem that we have in my son is a millennial. He plays for the Air Force Academy. And I will tell you this, that this is a instant gratitude generation.
Yeah.
Okay? If things don't work out immediately, they want to avoid adversity. But your greatness is through adversity.
So he didn't like going to the prep academy first and then going over and playing.
Oh, he did it all, and he had other Mountain West schools that were recruiting him and things of that nature. And the thing that we talk about is, okay, wherever you're going to start, that's where you're going to finish.
That's not a conversation that most parents have. I tell you that right now.
Because the thing is, you're not living. I already played football. You're not living for me. It's a 40-year decision and not a 4-year decision. So I have seen so many kids, and I have begged kids, and we've talked several times about some kids that were outstanding players, good kids, but were misled in saying that, oh, you can do this or you can do that. What you have to understand is the level of familiarity for a coach is very important, and a coach has to trust you. And can you go into another environment and secure trust and a relationship with a coach within a couple months?
Yeah.
That in itself is so important for people to understand, because yeah, okay, you're just as talented. Kids size places up, parents size places up. They're not very good. They're this and that and the other. Okay. But the kids, what's going to make a coach sit a kid down that he's been developing for 2 years, all right, a year, 3 years, and take a kid that walks into his program and may possibly have a spring or not, and you're going to take him and you're going to trust your job on that kid.
And you said that the key is your job, right? Is people
No
don't
question.
realize that the coach is still dealing with the fact that, I tell people a lot of times, look at, I followed Coach's Hot Seat. I share it with the people on what they're saying. This is a website that's about 88, 90% correct. And if people go back to the previous shows, that when we start doing Coach's Hot Seat, they would see that they got it right, with the exception of Clay Helton and Chip Kelly, who they thought were going to be gone. But on the other part, everybody they said was gone was gone.
Yes.
So that's true. So with this one sit, no transfer rule, I'm gonna take you back and put on your D-line coach hat. If it were you right now, having not seen some high school kids and you still had 2 to give, and you have February signing day, you got high school, and you're looking in the portal, where are you going, Coach?
I'll tell you this, with the way that college football is, and you know a good piece of my story. Yeah. This is a instant, you got to win right now.
Right.
So if I, especially, and this is what parents don't understand, if they have a level of familiarity, say I recruit California, the first thing that I'm gonna do when I was at San Jose, when I was at Cal Poly, when I checked the portal, I'm looking for kids from California that I've already recruited before.
Okay.
So now, all right, I have a level of familiarity. Okay, I remember this kid from Sacramento, this, that, and the other. I remember this kid from Bakersfield. I remember this kid from LA. Okay, I remember sitting in his home with his family. He may not have picked us initially, but now he's in the portal.
Right.
Now this level of familiarity puts me in a position where now the high school kid is inferior because I have a prior relationship.
Okay, got it.
Now you have to put yourself in a position, and I'm going back to your league. You have to put yourself in a position where I can see more and I have more data.
Yeah.
Because I already know this kid. I may have seen him play as a freshman at wherever, UNLV, New Mexico. Yeah. I've already seen him. I saw his development, and I've seen his development from high school to his freshman year, his redshirt freshman year. But there's a gap between you and your junior year and your senior year. So my thing is right now understanding that I can generate, even if he's not as good, I can generate depth. Okay. And this is what people this is what parents don't understand. I can generate depth. And for those people that are in the portal, okay, you might just be taken to create depth.
Explain that. So
So
numbers, more numbers.
more numbers, more numbers. You may leave a place where you got a chance to play and you got a chance to start, and you're going to come and you may play 10 plays a game with me. And I understand that because my level of familiarity with the knowledge of the package that we're running, okay? Now I'm putting my defensive coordinator hat on, okay? This kid, there's not much difference between John and your son, David.
Got it.
So there's not much difference, okay? You transfer in. Well, hey, John is the starter, okay? John's been with me. John knows all the intricate details of what I'm teaching, okay? He understands the zone pressure package. He understands the sub package that we're running. All right, well, David's coming in and he's been in another system. Whether they called it, they ran some of the same things. I remember him from high school, okay? He's looking for an opportunity, okay? I let him compete. He's still going to be a little bit behind. And with this COVID thing and with everything that's going on, he's not going, even if he has a spring, okay? Understand this, all right? John has already had 3 springs in 2 seasons with me. So he's going to be a lot more refined in what I'm trying to do as a coordinator, as a position coach, than this kid walking in.
Got it.
So you jump out of the frying pan into the pot.
James, folks want to know your last name. They're like, man, Coach James Jones.
Yeah, James Jones. Yep.
Yeah.
So and these are the things that, you know, a lot of parents don't understand and you're not told. So understand this. I've been on both sides too, just like you. The basic thing is my son has been recruited. Okay.
Yeah.
A long time coach at all levels.
Yeah.
And it's significantly different. And there's really no difference, and I'll be honest with you, in how my son was recruited and every other kid in America was recruited. It's no difference. Even though I'm in the industry.
Right.
Let's make sure that you understand you are responsible for your own happiness and making sure that you make the right decision when you go somewhere. And it's not always the right thing to do to leave where you're at.
So James, let me ask you this. So with the one transfer, no sit rule, and with that, listen to Mark Perry just make that statement that Georgia Tech was taking guys out the portal because they hadn't seen any of these kids, not enough film. Couple places it's gonna hurt. And we'd like you to talk about that. Couple places gonna hurt. Gonna hurt high school a little bit because you're gonna say, okay, your tweener, your 3-star kid that you go, do I want him or do I go get a guy out the portal, right? So in that, I keep seeing the scales kind of go, okay, it hurts there, but now the D2 or the 1AA starts saying, well, I get to steal that guy, but the 1AA still gets to go pull a kid out of portal as well.
No
right?
question. Exactly.
Right? And so that scale starts balancing back off. Now D2 gets to go, right? And then NAIA. So those levels of football you think are gonna go up in one sense. Your 1AA is gonna get better, your Mountain West going to get better? Because you're going to have guys who probably should have went there. And this is my thing. And, sometimes people say, well, that's kind of like you hate, but it's not. It's probably a kid that should have went Mountain West before he went Pac-12. Now that he's in the portal, he's back where he should have been out of high school.
Absolutely.
And so he put himself in a tough situation. And I think what the NCAA is saying is, as I looked at the last number, there was over 2,600 athletes in the portal. So now with this one now it's, you better make that right decision the first time because you only have one time to move the next time, right? And so, listen, going back to what you're saying is like, hey, man, you got to make this decision the right one out the gate. You know what I mean? It's funny, Courtney Morgan calling me now from Fresno State. I try to get him on earlier. I'll get him later. But do you think now, would you as a head coach or DC, would you recruit? You already said, you kind of said you would recruit a little bit different, but would you now say, hey, NAIA football Division II is a viable choice? Where does that leave the JC guy with the portal? And how did you recruit JC guys now when you see that? Where does that leave them?
I'll tell you this. In addition, being in California, I've recruited all the JCs all over the country. Mississippi, I was at Kansas State, so we lived in the Kansas JCs.
Come on, man, Hutch and Coffeyville and all that. You had to.
We lived on it, and then we cherry picked a lot of the LA and the California JCs too.
Right.
So the thing that I think about this whole situation, okay, and I've got a really good friend that coached NAIA, and he has put some guys in the league from NAIA because it's so saturated, okay, with this whole portal. I think this thing is going to saturate it where it's going to be a free agency like you talked about, and it's going to put those JC kids in a position where you have to make sure that your academics is together. Yeah,
absolutely.
You got to make sure that your academics is together. I understand the California JCs and they don't have the luxury of the scholarships and the housing and things of that. For the most part, so those kids are really grinding to put themselves in position. And I love that. I love that piece because that is not what this generation is about, just being very honest with you.
Right.
But what it has done is going to make it very difficult, and you're going to have to be the cream of the crop, and you're going to have to be able to check off all the boxes. What I mean, academically, character-wise, you're going to have to check off all the boxes in order to put yourself in a position as a JC player to be able to infiltrate into the BCS, Power 5, FBS, even FCS. All right, as a coordinator in FCS for quite a number of years, the one thing that I did understand is if you were going to bring a JC kid in, you better make sure you know how many hairs on his head he's got. All right, and what type, any scars that he's got anywhere on his big toe, all the way down to his big toe. Because if he comes in there and he fractures the organization, that's going to be on you.
Wow.
And I'm just, I'm glad that you got me on here because this is raw and uncut. And I'm telling you exactly, specifically, the things that coaches worry about with certain kids, because every JC kid, they feel like has a story, some type of story, whatever it is. But you better turn over every stone to make sure, all right, if you take that kid, that he's going to be successful academically, he's going to be able to fit the environment that school is in, he's going to be a great teammate, and he's not going to fracture the organization from and be a cancer from within. And he's going to fall in line, and he's going to be able to work his way up in that organization and not come in and say, I deserve, I'm better than him. You've got to understand, you've got to get yourself in a position where you understand the culture, recognize the culture, and you quickly adapt to the culture of that organization. Right then and there. The faster you do that, the faster you'll have a chance to play.
And the number of years, and the number of years is the big thing with you guys, with JC guys. You want the 4 to play 3 guys more than you want the 3 to 2 guys.
Absolutely,
right.
because it's a level of development. Okay,
right.
If I can get a what we call a 4 for 3, if I can get a 3 for 3 guy, you know, you feel like you got time. But if you put yourself, and that's what we're talking about with these JCs, if you put yourself in a position where you're a 2 for 2, okay, you better be a great player, good teammate, and be an unbelievable person citizen-wise. The organization doesn't feel like that you will just blend right in. And
so let me ask you, is that piece coming from the last 5 years of you coaching versus, I would say, for me, the late 80s, 90s group of JC guys? Because my buddy Lamont Simmons says you got to do your homework on most JC kids. Most JC kids have solid character, bunch of hungry dogs with different stories. And I think Lamont is speaking from like his own group. Like, I remember that group, him, Sean Liddell, a lot of guys that came to Fresno State, 90, 91, 92, 93, who all had came from, Coach Pat Hill was notorious for going and getting Prop 48 kids and JC guys, and that's what made Fresno in those years jump right off the bat. And it was, you talk about a Humboldt State, Sonoma State program that had closed down. So it took a bunch of those guys, took a bunch of Prop 48 guys, and Lorenzo Neal, Anthony Dago, had a number of those guys, and then Lamont Simmons himself, Sean Liddell. We had a number of JC guys come into Fresno. So at that time, those guys were hungry because they knew they were D1 guys out of high school. We talking about the boys in the hood where that 700 SAT was totally different than this SAT. We brothers were getting cracked 690. You know, they was like, golly, I need 700. But they were hungry, and they were trying to get out of my group, out of the South Central, to do something different. A lot of our friends were getting killed, gangs and all that. So those kids, I think, in that era were totally different. So would you say the JC kids are different now? Why? Because you used the word, like you said, like a kid coming in, like he's entitled, like it's my time, and he hasn't tried to fit into this program yet. Is that why you said that? Like,
yeah. And I'll say this. There have been, and I've coached some great JC kids.
Yep.
But the thing that people have to understand, and I'm saying for the masses, and there are a lot of great players that have come out of JCs, California JCs, Kansas, Mississippi, that have helped me in my career win a lot of games. Okay, but the one thing that sitting in that staff room, when you sit in that staff room, and every coach that's on this, that is a college coach that is on this feed right now, understands, when you have to answer to that head coach or that organization about a kid that is a kid that has a story, and this is just period, has a story, whether it's JC, whether he comes from, you know, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and in a lot of South Central-ish things happen in Cleveland, Ohio, as we know. And
Right.
because everybody understands that I come from an inner city just like a lot of us do. And the thing that you have to understand with that is when you get on these campuses, the position coach, the coordinator is responsible for the behavior of his players, because this is what you're being told by the head coach. There's two things that you're doing. Either you're allowing it and accepting how they're acting, and or you're trying to change it and you're mentoring. One or the other. So if you're not coaching it, you're allowing it to happen.
Got it.
Put that on you.
Right.
So when I bring a JC kid in, you know, just like everybody else, I got a family, I got kids, I got, you know, and we know how many hours that we're taking every day just in regular coaching in college.
Right.
So when I have to spend extra time chasing, whether it's trying to get some, you know, talking to somebody across town, bartering with this, dealing with this problem. And this is all part of what we do, because it's about mentoring and developing young men. But most college coaches will tell you, you can't have too many, that you gotta do extra with every single day, because you're going to suffer in some other aspect.
Yeah.
Okay? Whether your home is not, things ain't going right at home because you ain't never home.
Right.
Okay, now we getting real.
Mama mad. You got
or you're trying to get guys ready for a game, or develop guys, your entire group, or to develop for the masses, and it's taking away from some of that. Okay. Or now the head coach has got to go to speak to somebody on campus because so-and-so ain't been to class. All right. He decided to skip class, or he's not doing the right thing within the organization. Okay. So a lot of it is, yes, you have to pick the right JC players, okay, who will be an asset and will enhance your thing. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of coaches that they're going to continue to bring the red. They're going to continue to, oh, that's a red flag. Oh, that's a red flag. All right. At the hierarchy of the head coach, a lot of time. Pat Hill did a great job. Bill Snyder did an outstanding job. And there's a lot of coaches that have recruited JCs over the years that really mastered the ability to evaluate JC players and get them within their organization, and really put themselves in a great situation.
So I had a parent ask me to ask you this question, because, you know, with this portal thing, there's a lot of guys. So he said, ask you about a grad transfer with 3 years of eligibility, graduated early, had an injury, came back, ready to really play. Then we have the COVID, comes back this year. It really don't look like the coaches are going to play him. So he basically just said, you know what, I can opt out this year and I'm graduating, but I got 3 years. Long DB, ready to go. What do you think that kid should do? I mean, find a school, of course, but what do you think of a kid like that? What's your background check gonna be on a kid like that?
Background check is the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk to his position coach.
But he's had 3 in 3 years too.
Okay, so if he's had 3 in 3 years, then I go and talk to the coordinator, talk to the head coach, see what type of relationship. A lot of times, and people, and people think this, even though that coaches have a tough time.
Not to cut you off, James, because you made the comment earlier, you know, it's not good to lead. And I think those are some of the things too, with people that going, look, man, I mean, you take, you know, you can't see the feed, but you take what's going on right now in Arizona.
Mhm.
I'm talking about Summy might be your boy, Texas boy. I know y'all, you know, Prairie View, y'all was down in Texas. Summy was at Houston. I won't give it all to Summy because it's just like with a new president. You can't give Trump the troubles that Obama had. You can't give Biden the troubles that Trump had. Everybody get coming, right? So Summy took on some Rich Rodriguez stuff, right? And I know because talking to Coach Meat when he got there, they were upside down with scholarships. They didn't have stuff to give. So how do you win like that? You got to grab guys. You got to be very creative. You got to coach guys up. So Summy wasn't able to do that. There's other stuff, but you know, I'm not a player. But there's a ton of players. You know, you got to the point where in the Arizona State game, it got so bad that one of the kids said kids got dressed at halftime.
Wow.
You lost your team. So there is a ton of kids in the portal from that particular school because they just feel like, man, this is, you know, the quarterback. I just read here, the quarterback, Ganell, who I just saw at the All-American game a year ago, he from Texas, right back, he's in the portal. He's in the portal for, you know, and probably, I don't know what Miss Regina said, the whole U of A team is in the portal, but there's a ton of kids in the portal. So are those reasons where you go, yo, coaching staff, you know, we've got 3 coaches in 3 years, you know, I got to get out of here, you know?
Well, that's a really, really good question. But what I will say is,
I think it can go back to what you said earlier. Sometimes right now is a great time to stay and play.
I was just getting ready to say that. So you don't know who's coming in. You understand the situation there. You understand the other players there.
Yeah.
So say, for example, okay, it's all good. So-and-so's got, let's say, all right, Washington State has got some guys graduated. I want to go to Washington State. I want to be in the Pac. I want to go to another Pac-12 school.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but they got young players. Okay. They got other players. So you're going to walk into a situation where you don't know the players and the relationship and the development that has been going on, but you know Arizona, okay? You know the guy that's behind you at Arizona. You know the team makeup at Arizona. Now, when the coaching staff comes in, okay, you'll be able to see, okay, well, shoot, everybody, they ain't recruited none of y'all. So it's all a free-for-all. It's gonna be more on skill set because you can't make the team worse to make it better. Okay.
Right.
What I mean by that is you can't not say, well, I didn't recruit this kid. I don't like this kid, so I ain't gonna play him, even though he's the best kid and he's showing the best skill set. But what you can do is you can go to Washington State, and then all of a sudden you forgot about that kid from LA that they recruited that was redshirted that's been in the system and developed, and now you sitting behind him and you was the starter at Arizona, or you were playing, had a lot of playing.
And I was gonna say, or, you know, James, look, paint that picture. You know, if I'm that kid, I may have the conversation and say, hey, this is a year, number one, that didn't count, right? I got some new coaches coming in. Guess what I'm about to do? Call it what you want, but I'm about to be the workout. When they finally meet me, whenever they get hired, they gonna say, hey, oh, you the one they said been out here on the field track running, doing your thing. My grades is ready to go. Hey, you know what? Because every new coach that comes in, he needs a guy or a few guys. that's gonna help him learn the ropes of what's going on with everybody. So guess what? I may become that guy, and at the end of the day, I'm getting on this field. And I don't gotta leave because you look at it right now. They don't have a coach. They probably won't name one until right before bowl game or after bowl game. They may name one today. Sometimes I got to be quiet because I can say something right now and tomorrow in an hour they'll be done. New coach,
something happens.
right?
Yeah.
But they're gonna name this guy. He just missed signing day yesterday. He's got February. You jumped in the portal, and here's the thing: I want to talk about the portal because you have a little bit of experience with the portal as well, like you said. If you're not talking to somebody that's talking to somebody with you for you going in the portal, you just going in the portal. You just going in the black hole. Because if you're not talking to a coach, I'm just going in the portal, and you haven't talked to 6-7 people about going in the portal and them actually having a need, your name is just there. And what a lot of kids don't realize is they put their name there, and now that's a black mark. And the coach go, "Oh, he put himself." Because I was at Nevada interviewing, and the meeting was about the portal and having breakfast with the coaches. And he said, he's coach. The head coach said, he said, "Hey, guy goes in the portal. He can't use the gym, the locker. He can't use the weight room."
Yeah.
Right. Like, I was like, "Whoa, coach! Like, you just cutting him off." Well, he's telling us he don't want to be here.
Yes, that is correct.
So now you go in the portal, everything is cut off. Like, don't come. We don't want you in the football office. We don't want you around here. Go to class, do what you got to do until somebody picks you up. And I was like, I didn't know if that was like cold or not, but I'm like, on that coach's side, if you didn't come and talk to us about what was going on with your playing time or whatever it may be, you just went in the portal because you guys get a portal list when the kid goes in, like somebody sends you one, right?
Absolutely. You find out the AD, first of all, compliance and the AD have to kind of check off on everything.
Right.
You know immediately when a kid goes into the portal. Okay.
So immediately your attitude towards that kid is totally different, right?
No question. So think about it this way. And parents don't think about it this way sometimes, or they just are not in this realm. Say I make, let's say $100,000. Okay. I got 3 kids. I got a wife.
Yeah.
And I've spent 3 years developing this kid. Okay. This kid decides to leave. Okay. I'm out. I'm going in the portal. Okay. I am no longer wasting my time and my effort to develop this kid because he's part of, and he's affecting my family and my household because he is diminishing, whether he's playing or not. I put all this energy into him. He's diminishing the development of my position, the side of the ball, and the organization. And at that point, you have to make a business decision and cut your losses as a coach. And that's just, I'm telling you how coaches think. And I'm just keeping it 100 because being that I have been high on the hog, I've been fired before. I've had to tell my 11-year-old son that we got to move. Okay. I've had to tell my wife we got to pick up and go. That $100,000, that contract ends in a minute, and we got to think of what else we got to do. So all of these things that that people don't think about are in the back of our minds as coaches when a kid decides to transition and do something different. Now you understand this, you spent hours of probably years trying to recruit a kid to even come. So say I've been at a place for 5 years, okay? So this kid is a junior, okay? I spent the 2 years recruiting him. I recruited him as a junior. I recruited him all through his senior year when every other school had been coming at him. And I'm telling you from a coach's perspective, so when you feel like, man, that's kind of cold how coaches are doing. So I spent 2 years, okay? He came in as a freshman. I had to give him 1,000 lookout blocks. Hey, make sure you're doing this. Hey, look this. Stay out of the head coach's way. All right. Take care of him, and that's what we do. And as nurturers, as coaches, okay. I've done that. Then he goes into his second year. Okay, he's got other issues. He may have problems at home. I've sat and talked to him on the phone all night, numerous times. I put so much energy into this kid, and for this kid to say, I'm out, I'm just going to, selfishly, you're going to say, okay, I wish him the best, but I can't waste no more time on him. And that's where it comes. That's where the swift cutoff happens with kids. And from a coach's standpoint, when you enter the portal, you no longer want to do. I have a very good friend that a kid went from the Big Sky to the Mountain West. He's playing. He's starting in the Mountain West. Okay. He came out, nurtured him, played as a freshman in the Big Sky. He did everything that he was supposed to do. He was going to be a great player. Probably he's going to get an opportunity to play on Sundays. Was going to have a chance to play on Sundays, whether he stayed in the Big Sky or he went to the Mountain West. Doesn't matter. Okay. But all the energy that was put into this kid, and this kid entered the portal and left. It left a hole at this place. And all the energy, all the things that all the coaches, his position coach, the coordinator, the head coach had put into this kid, and this kid decided he wanted to do something different, decimated the program. And he was a leader on the team. So understanding from a coach's standpoint why they cut people off when they go into the portal.
So, and then what does that phone call look like? So a kid gets in the portal, they think it's all gravy. Usually, do you get a call from them coaches that are really trying to, they might like the kid, they gonna call you and they do a background check on that kid. They call you, say, hey, coach, got in the portal, he told me this. What's up with it?
Yeah, they're gonna say, hey, listen, and for me, I never hurt a kid. I say, hey, listen, had a good sit down. I had to sit down with the kid. Hey, listen, it could be a combination of things. It could be his relationship with the head coach. It could be the relationship with the coordinator at the time. It could be that the kid, hey, listen, I just want to move on. The attitude, the culture, as you're trying to change the culture of an organization. Okay, if you come in, say you come in a little bit late within the organization. Okay, they've already been there 3 years. You come in on that fourth year, and you're like, hey, and he says, hey, I'm getting into the portal. Hey, I just got here. This has nothing to do with me. Kid seems like a great kid. He's extremely talented. But the red flag that comes up with coaches is, then why is he leaving? If he's playing, he's starting, he's playing, he's doing this, why is he leaving? Well,
you said something, James, earlier, though. You said you got a kid that leaves the Big Sky, goes to the Mountain West. He was a leader. He leaves a hole in the program. But we understand this generation because I talk to one of the coaches about this all the time, and he says, Division I football is Division I football.
mm-hmm.
Do you take that same sentiment? Division One, because you said Big Sky Mountain West. You've been on the scope. So Division One football is Division One football, no matter what. The NFL is coming to look for football players, is what his term is. He don't say they don't go D1, D2, D3, Alabama,
Right.
SEC. They're looking for football players.
Period.
So at the end of the day, you said that kid was gonna get a shot at the league, whether he stay or not. But the mindset in the streets is that
No.
I need to play in this league to have a better chance. I just told a kid the other day, I sent him a video, and I said this. I said, you're right, there's percentages. But Mountain West quarterbacks get drafted in the NFL.
No question.
The best quarterback in the ACC is going to get his shot.
No doubt.
The fifth best quarterback in the ACC ain't going before a Mountain West guy.
Right.
The fifth
Right.
best. So I said, we're going to play that percentage game. But they are looking for football players. They're not looking for guys that played in certain leagues. And I think the misnomer is, I did this last year. I said, well, how many guys did Jordan Love go, the quarterback from Utah State? How many guys who went to Pac-12, Power 5 schools did Jordan Love go before in the draft? Okay, he went before Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
He went before Fromm. He went before the quarterback at Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he went before a whole bunch of guys, and nobody, these guys don't look at that and go, whoa, okay. And then you take the quarterback from Buffalo, from Firebird, right out here, Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
He went before a whole lot of guys. You take the guys the year me and you sat 8 at Cal Poly on my son's official. We watching the quarterback from North Dakota State. And he went before a whole bunch. So the misnomer is with the kids is that if I go in the portal and I get out of here, I'm going to something better. Like you said, the grass ain't always greener. I'm going to something better. Are they going to take this kid out of this league before they take the kid out of this league? If I'm better than this kid and I'm over here, what makes me have to go over here in order to be seen? Because most kids will say, oh, well, like that kid might have said, well, I'm in the Big Sky. I need to get to the Mountain West because I'm going to get a better shot. That's the mindset. That's what's constantly preached in, because we have a youth ball, Carson Wentz. We have a youth ball mentality and a high school mentality. I got to go over here so I can get my looks. I got to go to this high school because I'm going to get better opportunity. That may work there. But college football, I gave the analogy yesterday that Darnay Holmes played, coming out of high school, top guy, went to UCLA, drafted in the 4th round. I watched the draft, we were on quarantine. So I watched the draft from beginning to end for the first time. And I remember a walk-on at Cal that played the same position, another DB, who walked on at Cal, ran track at Cal, went in the 2nd round. I went, he going before Darnay?
Mm-hmm.
And I watched another guy from a D3 school, bigger measurables. There's all these other reasons, but it didn't matter. The walk-on kid from Cal who earned a scholarship went before the top 2-3 DB who, when he was coming out of high school with a full scholarship to UCLA, and then went before him in the draft.
Yeah.
So it happens. It's just, it's all the mental or the mindset of the kid, and then how we present it. It's always packaged that, like, I get this whole thing, and maybe you can answer this or go speak to this. I get this whole thing about the SEC, but everybody's packaging the SEC as the NFL ticket and ride to go to the NFL, when I just don't drink the Kool-Aid. I just don't.
Well, I say this, and people get an opportunity, and I left this out, and I was fortunate enough to be in 05. I was to do an NFL internship with an outstanding staff at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. On the defensive staff, it was Rod Marinelli, Monty Kiffin, Mike Tomlin was a DB coach. Joe Barry was the linebacker coach. Raheem Morris was an DB assistant, and Joe Woods, the defensive coordinator at the Browns, they were all on this defensive staff. And one thing that I understood is they didn't care where anybody came from. They wanted players. There was one young man that I was in awe, and this is the first time that I had saw this. There was this one man from a Mississippi JUCO that was a starting corner for a period of time for them. He played 1 year JC football. 1 year JC football. I talked with him. Why didn't, I was in the Ivy League at the time, and I asked him, I said, well, why didn't you? He said, Coach, I don't like school. I don't like school. But he was a tremendous talent. And he got an opportunity in order to play in the NFL because of his skill set. Okay? Because of his skill set. That team there and that organization there, the kid, now he was a great kid. He was a kid that did everything right. He was extremely hard on himself. He was extremely coachable, and he was 6'3", 200 pounds too. He could fly. So I'm saying this to say, that kid checked off all the boxes in order to get into the camp. Okay, so he went on ahead and he trailblazed his deal. But the one thing that they understood is they had on that defense, they had guys that, in the secondary that were just great players. But one, we know some of the players were 4'6". They were in the latter part of their careers.
Yeah.
Things like that. They had defensive line, at that time, Booger McFarland, Hovan, Crane from Florida State. He was an unbelievable player. He was 6 feet.
Right.
6 feet as a defensive end. They had a collective mentality in a system where they just wanted the players that they wanted to fit into their system that would be coachable and do things exactly right. And they were it was a phenomenal defense. So saying that to say, when we look at that perception that you have to go to the SEC, you have to go to this place, you just got to develop to be the best player that you can be to put yourself in position in order to get a look.
And I love that. I love you use the term develop, because you can go to a SEC, I have to catch myself to say a big school. You can go to a SEC school and not develop. You can go to a Pac-12. You can go anywhere you can go and not develop. It's about, like you said, going somewhere and developing, which is true. So when you look at that, you brought up the point of you have a friend at an NAIA school. What school was that? He
is now moved on, but East Central Oklahoma.
Oh, okay. East Central Oklahoma. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you look at that, like I said earlier, I'm gonna recap and let you get out of here, James, is that any data that you as a coach can watch, you definitely, like we said, this club football is something that you would tell a parent if they called you as a coach, say, hey, coach, I know we haven't been able to see this kid this whole year. There's an opportunity for him to play club football. It's 5 games. What do you think? You're gonna tell that parent, yes, that's day we need to see him.
Absolutely. You got to see him. And, coaches are going to look at the film.
Yeah, I know they are.
They can look anytime that they can look and check off some more boxes, because when we sit in those staff rooms and it's all 11 coaches, there's going to be dialogue that's going to be had. Okay. And what's going to happen is, yeah, he has this, but I don't see this. He has that, and I don't see that. If I have not seen that on junior film, I am looking for him to be put in that situation so that I can see him check off that box. Give you a prime example. All right, we always talk about DBs or receivers, dropping the hips, being able to short space quickness, being able to move, come out of your breaks. All right, either way, whether you're a receiver or whether you're a DB, body balance. I am looking for.
Got it.
You know what I mean? Things of that nature. So when I'm looking, I see the speed. I see his catching ability. I see his catch radius, but I want to see him get his feet on the ground, make a guy miss and take it. I need to see this person break on the football and actually make a play on the football. That's what he's missing. So if a kid gets an opportunity to show that in this league, that may be the difference in him getting that scholarship or not. And that's just 100. That may be the difference. Boom. I take it into the coordinator. I take it into the head coach. Remember we said that we didn't know how good this kid's ball skills were? Coach, take a look at these 5 clips. Boom, he picked it off. Boom, he got his hand on the ball. Boom, he reached back and he made a one-handed catch. That conversation is over with.
Right. Got it. That's huge. Okay. I got you. I think that's it. D lineman, California. You done did it with the D lineman. What we got to do to get these big guys, man? What's going on with these big men? What does California got to do to keep these big linemen? Get some big linemen. They not y'all was.
It's funny. It's funny when you talk about linemen. A lot of the elite big linemen get cherry picked out of California. Okay, and we know people come out to the elite places in California and they try and cherry pick them. But the thing that we can continue to develop and we can control in the state of California is continuing to develop the skill set, because the kids are going to grow. Okay. And developing the skill set comes from, if a kid is 6 foot, all right, we've taken numerous kids in California that were 6 foot, 6'2". When I was at San Jose State, when I was at Cal Poly, all right, there's a couple gentlemen that, ended up having late growth spurts. But right. I tell people is work on your skill set, okay? That has to do with playing, all right? That has to do with working on blocks and things like that, whether it's blocking, whether it's defeating blocks, whether it's pass rush. Work on your skills. Because if you're a 15, 16-year-old kid, all right, 90% of the time, you're not really finished growing, okay?
Yeah.
You want your skill set to be at a premium so that when your body catches up with your skill set, now you're a beast. But if you're like, oh man, I'm just trying to grow and I'm trying to do this and not working on the skill set and those things that we've been talking about, D, that, now your body catches up, but now you don't have the skill set that everybody is looking for. So I would say, shout out to those, the poly community, shout out to IE, Bakersfield, that central area, LA, Sacramento. Those kids are going to be there. And those kids that that are thin right now, Bay Area, all over California. Those kids that are long and thin, okay, continue to work on your skill set. Continue to put yourself in position because your body development will happen. Okay, it'll happen. And there are enough good coaches in the state of California that if you trust and you play as much as you can, that's going to put you in a position to be successful. I've been fortunate. I've lived all over the country. And the thing that people try and knock you on is not being fanatical about working on your skill set all the time. Because there are places in the country that's all they do. Okay, I've lived in Texas, I've lived in Georgia, I've lived all over the country. And there's this perception that it ain't all about football. But California has a lot of kids with really good skill sets that if they continue to be fanatical about their work ethic, you know, I don't care nothing about all the rest of the stuff that's going on. I don't care about, you know, this, because I got on a guy the other day about, California beaches, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. Work on your skill set. Work on your skill set every day, all day. Get into this league. All right, anytime that you're able to do something, continue to do something. Okay. All right, there's a huge community and a culture, all right, within this in California, that guys are grinding, and there's more resources than a lot of places.
Right.
There's the ability for people to coach you in California.
Right.
The weather is unbelievable. So trust in that and take an opportunity to take the next step every day that you're in this small window, as we know, between that age of 14 and 18, that small window, and work on your skill set. And there's so many, it's so diverse. And I know I'm going on, but it's so diverse. You've got Black community, you got the white community, you got the Polynesian community. There's so much of a makeup of different people that love football in the state of California. Travel, go see people, go move around, go see. If you're from Bakersfield, as you know, got to go down to LA. Best thing that my son ended up doing, he was living in Colorado. I'll tell the story, and then I'm gonna give it back to you. Is he came out, first thing he did, he came out and he played 7-on-7 out of Colorado. He came and played 7-on-7 in the Bay Area. He played in Sacramento, and he came down to LA. And instantly, his mindset changed.
We played with out of Sacramento. He played with TMP.
Played with TMP. Played with TMP. Got a chance to go with came to the Best of the West, played with Kenyon Trainer. Also, you know, TMP and those, shout out to my boy, those are my boys, as well as I've known all of the people in, as you know, doing the recruiting. I've known all of the 7-on-7 skill sets and the people that are involved. But I'm gonna tell you, the one thing that I say is his mindset instantly changed when he got a chance to play against those kids out of the Central Valley, out of Sacramento, out of the Bay Area, in LA, at Sarah, playing against the guys from Sarah. Now, he was one of the best players in Colorado. But he said, I got work to do, because the skill set
Totally different.
around and the diversity of the cultures and stuff, there's a lot of good players in the state of California. And the
So
more
where your son go in high school? Because I lived there 5 years. He went Cherry
he
Creek.
went to Mullen,
Oh, he
Denver
went to
Mullen.
Mullen. Okay, so he had one of the best. He there with Coach Logan.
Yeah, he started off with Logan. Logan went over to Cherry Creek. And
Okay,
once again, he stayed. I made him stay
at Mullen.
at Mullen.
He wanted to go to Creek.
Oh, he did.
See, when I hear Logan was at Fairfield, then he was at Mullen. He stayed at Mullen all that time, and then he went because he coached Lindell White, and then he moved to Creek. But I mean, Grandview, Regis, what's the Valor Christian, all them schools.
Yeah.
Those are great players, and you see guys go, but then you come to LA, you like, whoa, what's this?
And he was a DB receiver, so it was totally different. And Logan was a great coach, but there was one thing that, from what being a college coach, that I was able to see. I say you have to stick through some type of adversity.
Yeah.
That has built his character within playing college sports. So now he understands, like, hey, listen, you're not going to run from any adversity, because those are life lessons that we got to be able to teach this generation. And I'm throwing this on top of it, because you ain't going to be able to run. You're going to have some tough times in life.
Yeah.
You can't just pick up and move.
Every time.
You can't pick up and move. You're going to have to sit in it sometimes and figure it out. But I really appreciate it. Like I said, the California, there's plenty of good players in California. I like the dynamics of it. And the thing is that just continue. If I had any advice, continue to work on your skill set. That doesn't always mean just running and doing agility drills and jumping and all of that stuff. Actually working on your skill set, working on your individual skills of your position, okay? And really refining yourself so that when that 14, 15-year-old gets to, be 16, 17 years old and their body starts to take off, all right, their skill set is right there with their body.
Absolutely. So, man, I want to thank you for coming on. I gotta get over to a practice that we canceled. We thought it was gonna be raining. It was raining, but we canceled. I got people calling now. I will give you a call when I get in the car. I want to thank James Jones, man, Coach James Jones. Now I know he's coming back. He loved this game, so we're gonna find out where Coach James is at this year, next year, whenever he come back to the game. And appreciate you getting on, all you guys that's been on. I hope just a ton of information, man. And I'm gonna let this loop and play so people can see it. And man, I just thank you again, man. It was a 15-minute. I called you Courtney. I was just calling everybody like, I need y'all on, because so much and I would say bad information, but so much hater information goes out about stuff. Don't do this, don't do that. Then talk to these guys that got jobs or had jobs in the industry and ask them what they would do. Because you got a whole lot of guys and they never worked on a campus. They want to give people advice that don't go to, it just don't go. So appreciate you, man. Give me about 20 minutes. Let me call these parents and I'm gonna hit you up.
Okay. All right. Appreciate you having me on.